Alright, so I know there's a lot going on right here, but hopefully I can keep you focused. These are our two tanks. I have this one that is taller, they're the same size, but I just have it standing up, is our freshwater tank. So as you can see, the line comes out to the outside. That's where my fill is. Fill up this tank. This is my vent, and this is my other vent right there, and it goes to the outside. And then I've got my outlet. It goes into my water pump, out my water pump, into my PEX. And at the PEX, I've got a T right there. One way goes to the sink, the faucet, and this other way will go to what will be the hot water heater, the tankless on-demand hot water heater. And I've got a little valve so that I can turn the water off, because I think they say, to try to dump it, so it'll be easier to do that. But that's that. So then once it comes from my fresh water into my water pump, into my sink faucet, into my sink, it's going to come through into this tubing. So then it's going to fill into here. And the reason I had to turn this one sideways is so that it was lower, so that it would just drain. Because if I had it like this, which I had from the start, it was just, no. I didn't like all the water sitting in the tube. I just didn't like that. So that's how that works. Then, obviously, like I said, I have a vent. Then from here, don't mind this right now, but this is where it'll come out of. But for right now, and it's leaking a little bit, this, like I said, don't mind this right now. But it'll come from this little tube, and what I'll do is I'll put a PEX, and I'll run it into somewhere around here, and I'll drill a hole in the floor, and I'll have a little valve with a hose connection, with the garden hose thread, so that way I can just hook a hose up to it and pull everything out. If I had time, and maybe what I'll do eventually is I'll put another pump in through here, a cheaper pump, but just to suck all of this water out a whole lot faster than just letting it just kind of slowly drain out. I mean, I can siphon, and it'll come out, but who knows? That's for another time. So that's it for plumbing. So flexible PEX. What I'll do right now is I'll show you, obviously when you're using PEX, you can use shark bites, which are expensive, but they're really cool. They're easy to take off, easy to put together, and then you don't have to have an expensive tool to, like tighten the PEX, things like that. But if you use the other fittings with, the tool, obviously your tool up front cost is real expensive, which is this tool. This is your crimper, I would assume, is what they call it. I'm going to show you how to use this, so let's do it. Alright guys, so now I've got the PEX. What this is, these are PEX cutters. They have a bunch of different types. I like these. So what you do is you put it around it, pull, and then you either spin the orange, or right now, since it's easier, I can just spin the blue PEX. There you go. There, it's cut. Nifty little tool. So, in order to use these crimpers, what you'll do is you'll put a ring. You put a ring on it. You will put your fitting, whatever it is. This is a coupler, so if you happen to splice and then you need to put it back together. So there's a coupler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten this coupler. So what you do is you pull back on these. You just kind of pull, pull up and then back. And that's going to open it up. And then what you will do, make sure, what you will do is put, just let this back. Look at that, it's so hard. Let me get a little more comfortable. Alright. What you'll do is slip this around here. Now what you want to make sure is that your adapter is as tight, as close to the PEX as possible. Okay? Then you've got your ring. So what you want to try to do is start tightening it just a little bit, so that way you're like, alright, fitting is good, it's nice and sealed on there. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to Oh man, for a little guy like me, it's pretty tough sometimes. You gotta think about your space of where you're, gonna be tightening, and if you have enough space to get in there and put some booty behind it. So there's one. What I'll do for the next one is the same thing. Just make sure it's all the way flush, and if it doesn't look flush, try to cut it. Recut a little bit off to where it is flush, because even though it looks like it has a good, it'd be a good seal, sometimes I've noticed that no, that's not the case. So again, we'll undo it. We'll find a nice little spot. Then we will start to crimp. Use the floor to your advantage sometimes too. Yeah. Alright. And there you have it. There's making connections for pecs. That's that. Hope that works out for you guys. Okay, so now we're underneath the sink. So the water that the PEX line that's coming from the water pump, it meets in that T, to go to the water heater or come to here. Ow! Sorry about that. Calling. So that obviously comes in here. Then I've got, my 2 lines to fill my hot and cold side. Hot side, If y'all remember, we're using, I'm gonna hopefully this pad works, but it's electric, like tank heating pad, that people use in their RVs for their gray and black water tanks so they don't freeze. So maybe it'll heat the water up enough to where the water's not freezing. But so then I've got my PEX, they're shark bite valves, and that's so to turn my water on and off, to close it. And then let me crawl back out of here. Yeah. And there we have our faucet. And I still have to put the weight on it. All of this is kind of sitting here for now because I have to paint all of this, so all this has to go. But there's our switch for our water pump and our nice stainless steel sink. So there you go. So there's our tour of our plumbing. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope I answered any plumbing questions you had. Feel free to comment any questions below and we will do our best to answer them. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, stay steady.